Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica Brant, your host. I'm so excited. Again, we've got another amazing show. And without further ado, let me introduce my special co-host, Dylan Gemelli, all things bodybuilding, fitness, peptides, health related, and all around great guy. Hi, Dylan.
How you doing today, Monica?
Good. Now that we got my issues figured out with my sound. I don't know what's going on with these crazy computers sometimes, right?
It happens. It's all good. I can hear you great now.
Awesome. Okay, so I know that you are very excited about this interview and getting to have some great conversations. So, I mean, but I have a long list of all the things that I know of that this guy has accomplished, and I know it goes far beyond this. So, how about I just start sharing who this person is, and then we're going to bring him in, right? All right.
Definitely.
Okay, Mr. Universe 4 times, powerlifting championships, multiple powerlifting championships. At 20 years old, Joe Weider brought him in as a Weider Publications athlete, endorsed athlete at 20, 500-time international cover model, started in the magazines in 1987 and still going strong today. He's like the Energizer rabbit for bodybuilding and all things. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the only cover model that's had more covers than this gentleman. He was a Titan on American Gladiators. He also competed and was not competed, but he was a lead role on the Battle Dome show, which was a whole nother kind of kickoff from the American Gladiators. He's a family man. He's got the cutest son ever named Titan. He's got a beautiful partner, Mona, who is an incredible entrepreneur, wife, mom, and all around amazing woman who I know they have an incredible lifestyle together. He's one of the leading guest posers asked to come and guest pose still to today after all these years. And the thing that I love is I was listening to my interview with him 4 years ago. I can't believe 4 years has passed. But one of the things that he said that really I thought I would wrap all of this amazingness up with is he bleeds, leads, and thrives on a gladiator style life, all things bodybuilding, strength, and intensity.
I love
Let's
it.
hear it for none other than Mike O'Hearn. There he is. Too big for the screen. Hi, Mike. Oh, do we have a Mike? Are you muted?
Yeah, he's on mute.
He's on mute.
There we go. There we go. Like you said, computers. I'm old school.
They don't want us to connect sometimes, but here we are.
Thank you. Great. I love the intro.
There's so many things about you. Oh, I didn't even, I'm sorry. I even missed out on the actor. Like you've been involved with lots of movies, and I know you still are going strong with that part of your life. And you're a coach. I don't know how you do it all, but somehow maybe Mona helps you like guide you through life. And of course, now you've got your son, and I know your passion for your dogs. One of the other questions I went back and listened to our interview because it was just fun to reminisce. But you had said, if I asked you out of all the things that you've done, and I kind of listed them, and I said, if you could only pick one thing to do for the rest of your life, what would it be? And you came back and you said you'd like to rescue dogs.
Yeah, it's I'm a dog guy wholeheartedly. Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, I think if this wasn't what I chose to do, I'd probably be just a dog walker. I find true peace in that. But wow, 4 years! I cannot believe it's been 4 years.
I know. It's pretty awesome. And at the end of the interview, you said you wanted to interview me about something specific. And I also said I wanted to get Mona on here. So I think we still need to go back and follow up on those eventually. But
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree. And especially the story of Mona, I think, is second level. I've done some stuff, but I mean, like you said, I get to do what I get to do today because of that Savage. I guess I would best say it is like she's a different world.
Well, you guys are a good team, and I know you support one another. But speaking of a good team, we've got Dylan Gemelli here. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to really meet. I know you've kind of conversed a little bit, but have y'all actually met before?
No, we haven't met, but we have talked a bit. I slip into his DMs here and there, so I'm excited about today. I'm getting in depth.
Last year at the Olympia, me and my wife were walking around. She had never been to an Olympia before, and you had a line. I think it was a mile long, and she was like, "Who is that? What is going on over there?" And I tried to break it down and explain it to her. So I'm hoping you get a chance to actually, she gets a chance to meet you this year when we're there, hopefully, because last year was an impossibility and I didn't know you. And so I'm looking forward to that and hoping we get a chance to meet you.
Don't look for me, look for Mona, and then she'll bring you right up there.
Perfect.
Speaking of Mike, where will you be stationed? I know a couple years ago when we had the show there, we came and found you and Clark and saw Mona, and your son was there for a little bit. Where will you guys be at the Olympia this year?
We'll be at booth number 732 at Titan Medical.
Oh, okay.
Be nice. We're down the main hall, right next to Celsius, I guess you would call it. And hopefully we'll see a line and you go, okay, there's where Mike is. I'm hoping.
Yeah, familiar with Titan. I got to interview them the last show. It was good to visit with them. And I was in Florida. I don't remember when I was in Florida, but either way, I remember driving by and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Titan. So I sent them a message and said, I'm right by your business. It's all their big sign. Awesome. Well, great to have you. Thank you for making time today. And I know Dylan's got some stuff for you, but
I love it.
Yeah. So Dylan, you want to take over for a little bit?
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
I got a ton for you.
I love it.
So one of the things that I have made my kind of career and accomplishments about is kind of talking about men's health as men get a little bit older, my age, 40s, 50s, and I kind of do basic overall wellness, hormone optimization, things like that. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about that I'm curious, I have always been a proponent of one that, while we can't control father time, and I understand men's testosterone levels drop with time, I feel that diet and the way that you take care of yourself plays a major role into that, in terms of mitigating that, fighting back a little bit. I hate the fact that everybody wants to jump on TRT when they're tired or they're having a lack of libido or whatever the case. What do you, because I know that you do a lot of coaching, and I'm sure that this is something as you've gotten a little bit older and more experienced that you have seen more and more. What are your feelings on that? What do you kind of teach people to fight back against that as opposed to just jumping on therapies? And what kind of things do you encounter with people that may be a kickback to you?
You said a lot there. And I think one of the main things is that I believe in minimize the decline the best you can. And you're right. Father Time is undefeated. But what's interesting is you can't teach anybody anything if they already know it all. And the unfortunate truth on that is all these studies that people come out, that's, I guess you would say, a Bible in a sense to the individual that's listening to it. Well, it's 35, you're done. That's it. Chalk it up. Go, stop, sit on the couch. And it's an interesting thought that it's like, again, the mindset of the individuals that we're around is just a second level, and they never look at themselves as the average. And I wish more people would not do that. Don't compare yourself to the average. The ultimate goal here is, like you said, the lifestyle. And so is 35 it for men? It's like, come on now, stop that. There's enough people that are doing it and doing it extremely well. Robbie Robinson, almost 80. Jack LaLanne was a huge role model, but it's not even them. It's Clint Eastwood, who's 94, that I got to talk to. There is such a level of people that just want to say, this is what the science says. So that's me. So instead of me going to the gym and trying to diet and trying to at least work out for a bit, they just go, all right, let me get on something without even knowing the blood work. And then I'll add in the secondary, which is the training and eating. And in no world is that true.
Right.
You know this. Everybody knows this. You don't jump on it and become something. It's the other things that set you up. And then if you do HRT, that could help you. But again, that's blood work that tells you that you need it or don't need it and what time to use that. So I go back to the lifestyle of eating right, training right, and stop thinking that you're just like everybody else that's not doing that. The percentage of, I'll go off of that percentage. It's like 10% of people are exercising. And we're talking about China is 2%. The 2% population is fat. Then you got England that's 20%. And then you got America that's almost at 50% overweight. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, wow. And then the comments were when the interviewer was in China and they were asking, well, my kid's favorite meals are broccoli, or this kid's was rice. And they go, are you playing a joke on me? And the person that was doing, helping him translate says, no, don't your kids like healthy food? It's such a concept that America, unfortunately, is at this level that if you eat chicken and rice for dinner, you're on a diet. And that's not just a meal. When did that become a diet and not just a meal? We grew up on, milk, potatoes, chicken, eggs. It wasn't a diet. That's how we were taught to eat and what we like to eat. And so I don't know if that answered all your questions, but it's a tough thing to, everybody wants to go off the studies and what they go off of when they should just lifestyle. There's no reason that Monica Brant should look like this, but her lifestyle. And I remember when she was such a pup, and Mia Finnegan and Amy Fodley and all these young little incredible athletes came onto the scene. And they're still doing what they're doing and looking like what they're looking like. And the people out there are trying to look for the trick, the one science trick. What is it? What can I do? Train, eat right, stay healthy. Pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of people try to overcomplicate it, and people don't realize that everything is subjective to each individual, and what works for one may not work for another. But I think people, like you said, they look at a number, they give up, they think everything is just that, and it's just not that. So I thoroughly agree with you, and that's why I wanted to know exactly how you felt about it, because I had a feeling we thought pretty similarly on it. I wanted to ask you one more thing real quickly before I turn it back to Monica. When you are training your people, I think that once again, you and I think the same. I've been a proponent diet first, training secondary in terms of results. You can train all you want, but if you have a garbage diet, you're going to have garbage results no matter how hard you work. What's your feeling on that? And do you find that most people struggle more with the diet than they do with the training?
Well, like Monica said at the beginning of the show, I've been in the magazine since '87 and doing expos. And I've never had somebody come up to me and say, man, I am perfect on my diet, but I don't work out much. Right. Not one time in my entire life has someone said that. Mm-hmm. They come up and they go, you know what, man, I'm a beast in the gym. I'm a beast, but it's that diet gets, dude, everybody, it's 100%. Everybody says that. And I'm with you. And especially at this stage of the game, I realize mileage is mileage. And something, the young 20-year-old, which I was lucky enough to be, I understood that there was mileage is mileage. Mm-hmm. And if I'm this guy that's training 3-4 hours a day, that's going to catch up with me, especially if I'm not eating right. Right. And I think the young ones don't know that because there's no aches and pains and stuff, that comes with time. The reason I'm here today is because I've always kept nutrition at the forefront. And I believe that nutrition is the ultimate goal here, not just for, I think it is medicine. I think it is medicine. It's not like medicine. It is the medicine, and you can stay healthy and you can do this. And I'm with you on the point of saying that nutrition is more important than training, because if you do, and this is the full circle, if you do train and eat bad, you're putting on mileage. Right. And you're running your body into the ground where you're thinking, no, it's still exercise. It's good for you. Well, it's not good for you if you're not replenishing what you're doing and fixing what you're tearing down. Then you're just destroying your ligaments and tendons. It's like, that's going to catch up with you in time, compared to the person that goes, rest, recover, train, eat right, get the right nutrition. And if you can, stay in a surplus most of the time. And feed the body. Do not starve it all year long, because that's another aspect of it. But nutrition, I think, is in the forefront.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
such great advice. And I love that you said, when did chicken and rice become just a diet? Like, I mean, I grew up like that too. My mom made, a couple homemade chicken fried steaks and fried chicken once. So it was homemade, right? It wasn't like we're out there Popeyes or something. But for the most part, it was pretty simple, clean, healthy food. Like, you had your vegetables, your salad, your protein, and
Finish your vegetables. Finish your vegetables from our era.
I hated to eat when I was a kid. I hated eating. Like, I didn't want to eat anything. So that's changed now. And I'm sure, having done this industry for so long, where, but also understanding why we need to eat. But I love that. I think that's important aspect, like such a nugget for someone to grab hold of, kind of going back to your first question there, Dylan. I had someone very close to me, male, slightly older than I am. I'm 53 now, and he's probably in his late 50s. I don't think this guy's ever really exercised. Messaged me on DM, and this was earlier this year, and he sent me a long laundry list of drugs that some trainer told him, because he wanted to, he had an epiphany. I want to get in shape, first time in my life. And he had a trainer at a gym or something send him like 4 or 5 things to get on. Wow. And he sent me this list, and he goes, how do you think of this for me to get in shape? And is this a good price? And I was like, run. You need to learn how to eat and actually work out, or exercise. Like, do you even walk right now? Like,
can you guys answer that question to me? What would be
run?
What would be the point of let's say he does it. Okay, great. He does get in shape, but he got in shape because he jumped on some stuff, and then he did a show or whatever it was. His goal.
Nothing.
Okay, so he does it. Does he believe he'll maintain that? Or does he not comprehend that he would have to stay on the same way how you get in shape is how you stay in shape?
I think that the misleading from whoever this person that told, because this person does not know anything about the bodybuilding world, doesn't know anything about health and fitness, has never led that lifestyle. And obviously he's talking to someone that's just trying to make money off him or something, but it could ruin his life too. I'm like, run, please. I don't know. It's just like, who is he talking to? I just literally was like, you've got to move yourself away from that person and actually start even walking. Like, but the advice that you think that's just one person that reached out to me, just think about all the people that, don't know any of it and aren't learning. I went to AT&T the other day and it took almost 2 hours at AT&T to do what needed to be done with the phones and yada, yada. And while I was sitting there at the table, the guy working with me, and I came from the barn. I had just a tank top, normal tank top on, my hat, no makeup, jeans, and I was sweaty from the barn. And he looks at me, he's like, "You're in pretty good shape. You work out every day?" And I was like, "Well, not every day, but and I don't go into any of my history." But he starts asking me questions. He's 30, and he's like, I have never asked anyone. I've never had anyone in my life that I could ask questions to about health and fitness. He goes, everything I've read is just what I've read or looked online for. He's like, I've never got. So he sat there, and it took forever with my phone, but he asked question after question after question, and I just kept leading back: protein, exercise, sleep, get off the, people are just, there's so much information out there now, and people aren't maybe getting the right information.
Oh. Do you think it's the process of how they think now? So taking the food analogy, today it's, hey, what are we having for dinner? Pizza. We'll go to Chick-fil-A, which is great. But, at the end of the day, make some just basic food that we used to do in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And is that turned over into weightlifting? Because like you said, you got an email. I'm in the gym pretty much every other day or so, every day. And good looking cat, 21 years old, says, hey, so I'm not changing. My friends are all getting better shape than I am. Should I jump on the gear? And I go, do you eat right? And he goes, no. And working out, sweat. Well, no, today's the first time I've worked out in months. So there's the mindset. So I knew everything and how he thinks just because of the question he asked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's a commonality now. It's like, if you're going to the gym, great. What gear are you getting on? It's like, wow, it makes no sense to me.
So and going back to what Monica said also, because a lot of the ways that I've done videos is educating people on steroids, but indirectly trying to get them to not take them at the same time and sway them off. And I've got hundreds of questions you can imagine based on those videos. And it's constantly one, and this is to what Monica said, to answer that question, the trainers, and they're not trainers by any stretch of the imagination. They're putting people on 4 and 5 different compounds. And I'm talking big compounds on these cycles that they're trying to run. And then these people are going to gain a bunch of size and the trainer's going to go, oh, see, I did this. Yeah. Not realizing they're ruining their life and their longevity, have no concept of what the implications are going to be hormone wise, potentially not being able to have kids. I mean, we can go down the list on that, right? And everybody wants overnight results without the understanding that you can't keep those, because when you suppress your testosterone and put that amount of strain and stress on your body, you can't recover, so you can't keep the results. And then on top of that, if you're not in the right condition and you go do that, you're more susceptible to injury. If you're undersized, you're putting stress and strain on your ligaments and joints because you're growing too fast. You have no concept of what occurs during a post-cycle therapy hormone-wise and what it's going to do to you mentally and physically. So there's a total lack of understanding 360 degrees because nobody has any clue or concept. They just know, I want to get big, I want results, and I want them now. And then people don't explain to them, or the guy selling them the stuff just wants to make the sale and tells them to run everything under the sun. Or the 21-year-old influencer who thinks they know everything and doesn't know anything is also telling them that it's so great and cool, fabricating pictures and things like that. So it kind of is a never-ending cycle now because of social media making it worse. And this is just what I run into constantly. And so it's a breath of fresh air to have somebody like you who's done it the right way and shows it and teaches it and lives by it. But we need more people like that. And that's kind of what I've tried to model, what I've done for the past 10 or 15 years after. But it's hard, it's not easy.
Yeah. And you hit it out of the park. It is hard to do that because of the fact that it's great to be young. It's great to be young. You know, the whole world ahead of you. You wake up and you're like, let me get this. Let me get these followers. Let me just get swole. And that's the unfortunateness of health and fitness or social media adds to the flame.
Yeah.
Where I got lucky and I learned you don't do something for money or fame, or you just won't continue.
Mm-hmm.
And so my love for lifting and exercise is in my blood. I always say I was kind of bred into a family of 10 that all did martial arts, and that's my sisters as well, powerlifting and bodybuilding. And I just fell in love with it. And that will keep you going through the ups and downs, the dark days, which it really is the only days you got to make it through. The good days, everybody can make it through. But it's tough to want the fame and money when you're young and you see your friends getting bigger and you can't sit back and go, let me take that slow, steady pace. And maybe I don't get it in the next year, but maybe in 10 years, maybe in 15 years. Let's hope, as a 20-year-old, let's hope that you're here at 60. Right. At the end of the day, I mean, that would be the goal, right? We all want to be able to grow old and still be able to move and function. Because again, I don't believe longevity is about the time of life. I think it's the quality of life.
Yes.
So, and again, like Arnold moves around like he's a 20-year-old. on set, filming up there in 3 months, back in the gym at 7 a.m. doing his thing. That's kind of the life I want everybody to enjoy. And I think that's what you're trying to do, is teach them that if you're going to do HRT, there's a time and a place for it. And your body will tell you when it is, because you do the blood work. Mm-hmm. And if the blood work says don't do it, then don't do it, and wait until those days that you can continue forward in a more productive way, instead of being all these guys that are done by 30 because they gassed out of their mind when they're 20s. Yeah. And there's a lot of that, but people they turn a blind eye to that.
They do.
They really do. Because I'm sitting there, I was with Charles Glass talking the other day, and I'm going, just think about all the guys we've seen come and go.
Right.
You forget names. It's like so many came in, turned pro, done in a year. And then the over the cliff, they're doing that so young. So again, I think what you guys are doing is great, and talking about it and talking about it, that it can help you if you need it.
Right.
If your body needs it, then do that. It's not a debate at that point.
Right.
No.
You're just trying to make your body healthy, because we can also talk about low testosterone and what's that doing to older guys. It's hurting them.
Yeah.
So be smart about it. Think of the long game if you can. I know I'm saying that, and I don't know why I started this journey, and I always thought of the long game. I think I was just so scared. I'd never wanted to work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I was so freaking scared, and I grew up with dyslexia, and I'm like, dude, if I can't make a living off of myself, I'm done for. So I think that's why I always thought, I just want to be able to do this for a lifetime.
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say it's a marathon, not a sprint, is what I kind of stress to everybody. And it resonates with some and it doesn't with another. But I think as we get older, we start to understand that and feel that. And I mean, none of us are old by any means, but we're more veterans in what we do.
More mature.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very vintage.
Vintage, mature, and sophisticated.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Vintage, that's good. Mike, speaking of longevity and just kind of how you handle things, I would love to hear, how do you handle food? Are you still trying to get in the gram per body pound? Or are you like a protein a day? Is that your number one focus with nutrition? And also, do you use any tools, like any kind of keto days or, style anyways, or fasting or carnivore? So love to hear kind of how you handle some of that.
Yeah.
I use nutrition, and I have for, I would say, the last 15 years. I use nutrition as a study and also a mindset. So I do try to test myself a lot. And now these are some things I will say I don't recommend to anybody out there, just because I am trying to push the envelope, or whatever they would call that. I'm trying to push it to understand what my body is capable of at every stage of the game. Now, how does that make sense? Well, I will do a fast, but I don't do the fast for cleansing or any other point, except to see if I can go without food mentally and I can control it. And then I don't change my training program. I don't back off. If I'm slicing and dicing, I don't back off the cardio. I don't back off the heavy weights. I don't back off anything. I test it mentally and see what my body is capable of doing with and without food. Now, again, I do not recommend that, but for me, it's fun. It's really fun to study it and see, okay, I went 3 days, and then the last day did even a water fast as well, and still see what I can do in the gym.
The dry fast.
Yeah. And at that point, just, this, getting ready for a show, we did it. So then I can turn around and go, listen, I can do this at this stage of the game. If I put the right food in, that takes me up a notch. And so I always try to stay in that white belt mentality of learning the basics over and over again with the nutrition and seeing what's possible. And then it's fun. I'm a big guy, and I've been a big guy since I was 15 years old. So I got a lot of muscle that's just been there for 45 years. And so I can lose it and put it right back on. It's not a thing. Memory muscle is the greatest thing in the world. And people ask me, it's great that you're in shape at your age. Well, I would love to say that's true, but I got in shape when I was 15 and I just never got out of shape. I never stopped. So
Right.
in a sense, I don't want to mislead them and say, yeah, everybody can get better no matter what age you start. No matter what age you start, you can get better. But again, my belief was what you said, and I think people don't know this. It's bone density and connective tissue is what I want strong. Muscle I can eat or I can stop eating, and I can get and gain muscle or lose muscle. But the connective tissue is the biggest thing. And you said something earlier where you said that when these people get on any kind of chemicals, they don't realize they're only making their muscle stronger.
Right.
Connective tissue comes with time and pounding and weights and time and time and time. And so when you start making your muscle so much stronger, what happens to the tendons? They get weaker. Right. Because the pulling on it, and that's when the injuries start. And then you don't realize that, oh shit, I just set myself up for 20 years from now. My joints are going to feel like. And so when it comes to my nutrition, if I'm getting ready for a movie, it depends on what I'm supposed to look like. Like right now, it's kind of an interesting one because it's very different. I'm going to be a boxer in this next movie, and they want me good size, but they don't want me lean. They want it flat looking. So I can just take out the carbohydrates, keep the protein in, and that would add the water, and I'll look a little flat. So that's how I play with my nutrition. My nutrition is still always on point, and I always test it.
I don't know that Mike can ever look flat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dreaming. Dreaming that you're going to look flat. Oh my. So in the movie, are you actually going to be boxing?
Yep.
Wow. Awesome. Is that something that you've done throughout your life with boxing, or is it something you're learning?
No, hand strikes. I did moderate when I was younger. But no, I'm more of grappling, judo, and jiu-jitsu and stuff. So they got me a great coach. And so we're working the strikes and everything. That's awesome. It's fun. I know that you guys understand this, but it's always fun to do new things that are outside, outside your wheelhouse. Yeah. And it's fun. It makes it exciting. And that's how I make nutrition fun for me, because I continue to try to test it and learn it. And I also see like, what does certain foods do? And I bet you guys are both over this. Like what certain foods help me feel better? What certain foods maybe make my body function better, but I don't feel great. And I always try to make sure that my body is still utilizing carbohydrates instead of it, as we get older, lose the ability to use carbohydrates. And that's one of the biggest things. I think that the reason I'm still here today is I haven't let my body slip into that.
I have one question, and then Dylan, I want you to take over because I know you've got some stuff you want to share or ask. Just real quick, Mike, on any given day when you're not fasting, are you trying to take in that 200-gram protein content? Or is that still a thing that you believe is important for people? Because as I've gotten older, I've read so many kind of mainstream nutrition people that are like, oh, less protein, blah, blah, blah. But then I hear on the other side of things with the older, bodybuilding gurus and nutrition people, no, you still need enough. You still maybe need more protein now, like not you, but in general, as we age. So where do you fall in that? In general, and then is that something you're trying to do for yourself? And I know you know exactly how much protein you're getting in because you've done it for so long, but rule of thumb for someone else, like, is that still what you're coaching?
Two things. One is I'm taking in 330 grams of protein right now.
Woo,
and for anybody out there that is listening to nutrition advice from these experts or the social media experts, it is about retaining your muscle, longevity. And again, I love that these studies come out that we've all told everybody 20 or 30 years ago, well, this is really good for you. The stress of the body with weightlifting is really good for you. And now they're finally, okay, women and men should weight lift more than anything else. It's like, yeah, I know. We told you guys that. It's like, all right, you don't want to listen. Same thing with protein. I think protein, keep it in the diet, keep your muscle mass. And then when it comes to fats, there's a certain amount of fats for everybody. And again, it's everybody's unique, but there's a certain amount of fats you should be taking in to make sure that not only your blood markers are good, you're healthy and you're doing good. And then carbohydrates is the taboo, right? Again, I think you should try to keep carbohydrates into the diet as much as you can to make sure your body continues to use carbohydrates instead of trying to switch over to something else for energy, as long as you can. Again, I think it's in-house. I get to see Mona wake up and do the European, bagel in the morning. And she walks around so lean. Your body becomes used to something or adapts to something. And so her body can utilize a good 200 grams of carbohydrates a day, and she trains 3 days a week and looks unreal. Now, that's different for everybody. I only take in about 250 grams, and I'm at 280 pounds. I twice as much as her. So it's like, everybody's different, but try to keep the body healthy. Try to keep it using the foods how it's supposed to. And then the one thing I worry about is everybody, because I want them to understand, I don't fast. I only fast at times, like if I'm slicing up for a project or I want to test myself. I don't do it for any other reason. I don't do it to cut body fat. I don't do it to do a cleanse, like I said earlier. Use food as a medicine. Make sure that you're good. And again, get your blood work done, especially at this stage. I think actually by 35 or over, start doing that. Get your blood checked, see what you can do and optimize your body. Because I do work with people, and you guys know this. Weightlifting takes a while. It takes a while. And so it kind of sucks if somebody's body's not functioning right and they're in there kicking ass, doing their hour of cardio. They're in a deficit and their body doesn't change. And they think it's them, but it's just their body needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that answers you. Yeah, but I think keeping your muscle and keep your protein in there and stay healthy.
It's awesome. Lift heavy things. I was telling someone recently that, it was a guy in AT&T, because he's like, I'm working out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, don't look at your workout or your exercise as how you're losing weight. Look at your food as how and he was like, what? My exercises and how I lose 30 pounds? I'm like, not necessarily. You need to be concentrating on your food more. And exercise is something that complements and helps your body get stronger and healthier and, movement. But he was like, wow, I'd never heard that.
That's wild, because that's so weightlifting or exercise or cardio is a stimulant. It's the nutrition that sets you up.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is, if we only did exercise to lose weight, every day would have to be so intense, so many calories to burn. I mean, I went on a 2-hour or something hike, and it was 7 miles, and my things that I burned 900 calories. And I'm like, I would have to do that, almost every day if I wanted that to be how I lost weight. So anyways, it was kind of a different mindset. And I did that because I really like it. And it's good for me once in a while to go and push myself a little further. But
no, I know what you mean by that. Because I'll weight lift and I'll do my cardio getting ready for a project. And that's nothing for me compared to a 2-hour jujitsu class. I do a 2-hour jujitsu class. I can only do it once or twice a week because, oh my gosh, I'd be skinny as anything. The amount of calories I burn those days. So yeah, use it as a stimulant.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm curious then. For a guy your size, I'm like a huge cardio advocate. Always have been. I do way more than I would advise people to do. But I'm also not anywhere trying to be near your size. For a guy your size, and I think we both are on the same page on the importance of cardio. How much do you do to kind of stay where you're at? And what types of cardio do you do or prefer?
I try to use everything in the utility belt, in a sense, like that Batman utility belt. I try to take a portion of off season and cut my lifting in half.
Okay.
So I'll still go in the same amount of days, but I'll do half the work and try to allow my body to function or maintain what it is with less work. And then I'll build up depending on if I'm getting ready for a project. And I recommend that for a lot of people. And so what I want to do is with my cardiovascular, I try to save it because I don't want to be doing it all year. I don't want to be doing the mileage on the joints and ligaments all year long because I'm doing the lifting already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to still get in that ridiculous shape for projects.
Right.
And so you guys know that it's always a pyramid. It's up and down. It's up and down. So if I can do a moderate amount of work, do a little bit more, and then come into a show and add in my cardio, the 2-a-day workouts, and drop my calories, then boom, I'm still in control of my ship. I can still get in that shape at this stage of the game. And I think one thing people do is, like Monica was saying, is like, you went out for a hike. Well, that's great. 900 calories. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to start doing that every single day, 6 days a week. All right. But you're going to have to keep that up for the next 5 years. And then how are you going to get better in 5 years when you're 5 years older and take it up another notch? Mm-hmm. And so I'm always trying to think of what's the least amount of work I can do right now, but still get better and leave room for the future to where I can up it up another level, because I'm not done yet. Perfect. I don't want to maintain. And again, I don't believe there is anything. I don't think there is such a thing called maintaining. We're aging. Right. And so you have to fight against that. And so you have to try to get better just to maintain, because it's pushing you backwards every single day. So you got to push forward. For me, and that mind approach really works for me because, again, like we all said, time's undefeated.
100%. It took me, I'm 42, and it probably took me till about 40 years old to stop being a hypocrite and do I need to rest and value rest more. I mean, seriously, I rarely ever argue with my wife, and it's really only if I'm sick and I want to work out. So she finally got to me to stop doing that and take more, an extra day off during the week and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of people overtrain and don't realize it. And that's part of the reason there's a regression in what they're doing and their gains, especially longer term. How do you feel about that? And I guess, has that something you kept as a mentality, or is it something you got as you got older and kind of learned more? But do you see that happening a lot with the people you deal with?
I got lucky and I learned early that you being a savage in the gym and outlifting the other person or out repping them does nothing for you.
Yep.
And I got lucky because Tom Plaz is one of my first workout partners when I got to Gold's Gym, and there's nobody in the health and fitness world that trained harder than. So my goal every workout was to match him or beat him by a rep. But the results weren't there. Why are these guys also, and I'm stronger than all of them, and I'm doing more reps than all of them, but why isn't it work? Well, you're a young kid. You're an idiot. I was. But it set me up mindset wise to never quit. But it didn't help my body because you can only train as well as your body recovers. Right. And so I think it's a weird thing that people, it sounds cool. Hey, I train like a beast. Good for you, buddy. That's good. It's like I train 6 days a week. Again, great job, my man. That's the complete opposite of it. It's like, can you get better off of 4 days or 5 days? Because you can maintain that for the next 20 years. Mm-hmm. You can't maintain 6 days a week, 2 workouts a day. You're going to the gym 12 times a week. It's like, all right, keep that up. It's like, that's a hard thing to comprehend, that people haven't come to grips with that, going, okay, there's times I need to back it down and still train. I'm always saying definitely train, but can you do it in 4 days? How intelligent can you weight lift? How intelligent can you do your nutrition to really set you up, not for just today, you want to look good today, but also set you up for the future in 5-10 years to where you're not destroyed. And I think people don't think that way. They just think, I need to go and get in shape the next 12 weeks, like the guy that called you. It's like, I'm going to get on all this stuff, and in the next 12 weeks, I'm going to look great. Awesome. Awesome. What's that do to you in 10 years?
Right.
Have you even thought about what's it going to do to you in 10 years? Nope. Just right now, 12 weeks, I'm good. Sorry, guys.
No, it's true.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's hard for people, and I felt it a little for myself, because I've been an athlete my whole life with competition of all kinds, from when I was growing up to all the fitness and figure, all the years, almost 30 of those. And then I started running track and, had track meets, and I quit doing that. And I don't have a competitive goal, right? And so it's been a whole new learning process for me of, okay, how do I take all that I know, all that I love, everything that I do, things that I'm attracted to doing as an athlete, and how do I live life now for me with with satisfaction of what I'm doing without a big goal. And it's kind of like getting back to or feeling like what normal people maybe feel like that aren't in our industry, that haven't grown up in any kind of sport or competitive anything, and I feel for people now because, I can't say it's a struggle, but it's just been a learning curve for me over the last, my last shows were 46 and I was 46, I'm 53. And I started, helping my husband more at the barn, just exercising horses. And I just kind of lost my own competitive stuff. So it's been I feel like inside, like I want to do something again, but at this point I haven't really figured what that looks like. I've done a couple of little things here and there, but I think for the normal person, they don't normally have a goal. They just, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to gain 10 pounds. I want to get lean and I heard, so many women over the years now, like, oh, I just want to look like I'm going to compete. And I'm like, no, you can't just look like you're going to compete. That's way too strenuous of a, strict line without having a goal to really get on stage or do something of that nature. So
I think this is a great point. I'm not, you keep going, but I think this is brilliant because of the fact that we're talking to somebody that's been at the pinnacle of the health and fitness world. And from what I understand, you're saying basically there's not that goal, not that passion that it burns. And you're like, what is it for me? And you're trying to grasp that. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. I think that's everybody. And I try to say things. You keep going. Because I'll give my.
It's been a learning curve for me, and my heart goes out to people that have never had the experiences of one type of athletic competition, much less years and years and years of competing in things where you constantly are working on your nutrition, working on your your recovery, learning how to handle that, because I'm fully capable of handling. And, I know where I want to sit in my body fat. I want to stay 13% body fat, at 53 and no big competitive goal. Like I want that. But people that have never been in those places to learn that path or learn that discipline or learn how it feels to walk in that. I asked someone recently who's has some health concerns, and she's in her she's my age. Exactly. And I asked her, I said, how long have you ever walked down a path of no sugar or, controlling what you eat with like a eating routine? And she told me, she goes, oh yeah, I've done that. And I'm like, well, okay. And I'm like, well, she's never been a competitor at all of any sort. And I'm like, well, so how long did you go? And she goes, oh, a year. And I'm like, you went without sugar for a year? And she's like, well, maybe not a whole year. And I'm like, did you drink alcohol? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's sugar. That's never mind. So it's like people just don't really know what that feels like. So I guess my point, it's just, not having a goal sometimes is really tough, I think, for people. And it, how do we find goals? Like if Mike, if you had someone come into you, to coach, and they, how would you give them advice on having a goal? Or what would you say to them about having a goal?
I think this is where my minor in psychology helps. I have a conversation. Because I think what you just hit it out of the park on this discussion. I think that's the number one thing the person has to have, and it has to be so deep within them that they wake up every day and it's like, no, I said this summer I'm going to take my shirt off and get in the pool, and I get a lot of those. Just the basic. I just want to be able to take my shirt off around my family and feel comfortable. And I said, well, then live that. Actually freaking live that moment and hold that thing true. And I think it has to be, there has to be a goal. And I've never not had one. And I tried to find, I find stuff like one time I said to Mona, hey, next 12 weeks, we're dieting down for a photo shoot. Be ready. And it's like, then it was for the photo. It was just that. Now being a father, it takes that whole aspect of now I got to be able to tussle, because my son in about 5 years is going to kick my ass. And so it's like, okay, I got to be able to do this. Still train heavy, eat correctly, and put in the martial arts back into the schedule. So it's another goal and a discovery of how can I do this, and how do I play with the nutrition to allow me to stay in this game and keep the physique and then become and so I always try to find those kind of goals. And I think you're right. I think it's a hard thing for people, and I think you have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of the things that I've really tried to convey to people is you have to kind of be intrinsically motivated. You can't depend on others to motivate you, you have to find it within yourself. Something has to motivate you. However you got to do it, okay. But it has to come from yourself. If you start depending on an energy drink to make you work out, or somebody to push you to go to the gym, or a partner, or whatever the case, you really aren't ever going to make it something continuous, because you're not always going to have something to rely on other than yourself. And so I think that when I talk to people and they ask me, how do I get motivated? How do I get motivated? My first advice is look within yourself and find something that drives you, whether it's your kids that you want to be healthy for and look good for, whether it's, something that you want to, like you said, something to where you can walk around with your shirt off, or maybe it's just how you feel every day. But there's got to be something that makes you get up and want to do something for yourself.
Let me ask you guys this. How many times have you seen the guy or girl that has the mild heart attack or something, or the doctor says something to them, and boom, now they're motivated?
Well, sure. Yeah.
But that's too late.
Yes.
I mean, it's like good that they discovered it, but you shouldn't wait until, and I think Anthony Robbins kind of said that, until you're completely disgusted with yourself. Some people don't get moving.
True.
And I wish, and I think we're all in the same boat, that we want more people to have the healthiness that we've had, or the careers that we've had, or the enjoyment of how fun it is actually to eat healthy and look a certain way, or at least be in charge of your vessel and go, hey, I can get bigger, I can get smaller, I can look good, I can do whatever. There's got to be that grab to the passion, and I think we all do get it, and I think we do lose it at times.
Yeah.
And when we lose it, if you can stay consistent,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's the low points. If you can stay consistent on the time when you lose that focus instead of stopping.
Yeah.
And then you find the goal again, and boom, it takes you to another level. I got to ask real quick though, Monica, behind you on that wall, how many Clark Bartram covers are with you right there?
Oh, well, I know I have two with him, but is the other one up here, or is it might be further up? I don't know. These are just a few of them. Oh, there's there's one over here.
I knew he was going to be up there a couple times.
Yeah, two. Two. Yes, Clark. One of my favorites.
He is the godfather to my son.
I know you probably are needing to wrap up soon, Mike. We want to be respectful of your time, but can you share a little bit about being a dad and how that's been? I'm sure there's new challenges that come with that, with making appropriate time. How do you fit him in at his age, and what are his interests right now?
Being a father is exactly what everybody that told me before. They said, trust me, when it's this. And I was like, no, I'm good. And then being a late father and having one, it's like mind blowing to me. He's 5 now. So he's starting to do the communication and all that stuff. And he's in kindergarten, and he was up last night singing and dancing, and we were all up singing and dancing with him. And it's the greatest thing in the world. And the motivation though is, I got lucky with a couple parents that did, football, and my mom, martial artist and stuff. And so I really want to be that to him, you know, and the way Mona is, you know, in there deadlifting 315 and him walking in going, "Mommy, strong." It's like it motivates me. It motivates me to be that father that you know, he's proud of, but also I want to be the father that can wrestle with my son. And now I'm a late father, so that's a wake up call, because I didn't have my kid when he was 20. I had my kid when I was 50. So when he's 15, I'll be 65. And so how will I do at 65 against this savage? So it keeps me really motivated and pumped. And it didn't change my life at all. And that may be because I'm an older father. And I was intelligent enough to figure it out before it happened. But yeah, it's no challenges. If anything, it just heightened my my craziness of health and fitness to take it to another level at this stage of the game.
Awesome. I had one question for you. So, and I think I caught this correctly because I was running sprints this morning. I was watching you and Monica's interview.
Nice.
So I was like, I think I heard it right, but I want to make sure. My wife came from the Philippines and didn't know English and had to learn it, you know, as she came over. And I mess with her sometimes because she's still, even though that was so long ago, she'll mix words and we'll laugh, you know, and joke. But it was I thought that you said the same thing with Mona, that she came over and had to learn English. Is that correct? That I heard that this morning?
Yeah, it's a double fold. She came from Romania when it was communist, and she got out, and she didn't have parents from the age of 12 on. So she had to help raise her. And you guys will talk to her at some point, but she got to, and I don't want to go to New York right now. It's too rough for me. But she went from Romania to New York, not speaking the language, and then made herself a multimillionaire in America. She's the pinnacle of what America could be if you got a mindset. And so it's one of those things, like she'll say to me, if I'm ever slipping, she's like, "See, you're American, you're weak." You're weak. And I'm like, all right. And so it's a great combination to have, because it's not, I got lucky late in life that I met somebody that I'm like, oh, you know what? This is going to take me to another level. And I realized that too. It's like, I had to be somebody different. I had to kind of step up another level. So it's a great thing. But yeah, it's a good mom on my side, and she's helped me.
And my wife came from the Philippines and she moved to Maui and like learned English, and she was, I think, 17 or 16 and just had to start it in high school. But had I not met her, I don't know what I'd be doing, because she was like the polar opposite of me. I was out of control and she was like great as an arrow, you know. And then I adopted that, and that's how I became what I became, as opposed to what I was, which was not good. So I'm very thankful for that. But I thought I heard that, and so I thought I had that in comparison. That's awesome.
Well, Mona helps you to bleed, lead, and thrive on a gladiator lifestyle.
I love it.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for doing this.
This has been fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was always good. And there's so much we could talk about, but I love the fact that we did cover slow down, be patient. And we also covered the fact of, even we lose motivation at time, but as quick as you can, try to pick it. And you're right. It has to be within you. It can't be for somebody else. It can't be for money or fame. It has to be within you for your own personal enjoyment.
I love it. Thanks for helping to sum this up. And we can't wait to see you at the Olympia just in a few weeks. What, 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
2.5 weeks, right? I think.
Yeah.
We're ready. Come by and say hi, please.
We're certainly going to. We're going to bring our video and camera and get pictures and all the good things. So
I love it.
Yeah, and I'll get in touch with Mona and set something up with her after the Olympia, because I still want to have that conversation with her. It'd be fun.
I love it. Definitely do. And I'll touch base with you. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Oh, Mike, one last thing is the sponsor for the Monica Brant Show is the Stem Regen. It's a stem cell enhancer product, enhancing product for your own stem cells. and they'll be there at the show. So we'll have to bring you some over to your booth and hand it over to you so you can learn a little bit about it. The owner's actually coming too. I know he'll love to come meet you. And the company has taken off in the globally in the biohacking world.
Nice.
So he's stepping into the sports world now and the bodybuilding fitness. And that's where we're coming in. This was his first time to come to the Olympia. So I'll bring him over if I get a chance.
We didn't even discuss that. And that's something so big, you know, PRP or stem cell and all that's so important and possible now.
They've got tons of great research. He's been a stem cell scientist for 20 or 30 years. So this is his world. So I'm excited to get you some and get you to try it out and learn about it. So, okay. We'll let you go. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you soon. All right, Dylan. That was awesome.
That was great. I enjoyed every second of that.
I know. He's got such a breath of fresh air and always just some positivity and enthusiasm for what he's doing and other people. I think that's one thing that people have always, when people have asked me about Mike, that, you know, they see his pictures and they see what he does and how much he's accomplished, and people just have a different opinion of who he really is. And I'm like, Mike is just one of the nicest, genuine people in the industry. And that's probably one of the reasons too that he's done so well, besides, you know, all the aesthetics and the athletics and the you know, but he's just like genuinely good from, you know, inside, and he wants to help other people and share goodness of life with others.
Well, and I think that's what's good about when we bring people on here, that people can kind of see who they are as opposed to who they think they are, because it's, you know, it's easy for people to make assumptions based on pictures or videos or whatever they want to do. But when you really get to see somebody for who they are, that's why I like podcasting so much and not just regular videos. This lets people see who you and I are. And then, you know, we get to showcase other people and show who they really are. So it's a blessing to be able to do this together. It really is.
I agree. All right. Well, I think we need to go eat some protein now.
I agree. Starving.
But first of all, because my stomach's empty, I'm going to go do my stem cell. Go do my stem regen and get that in, because it's supposed to be done for best results on an empty stomach. So that's right. There's that. And then I get my protein in next. We cooked up a bunch of protein on Brad got a new grill, and yesterday we did last night I had a bunch of food defrosted, so he took it out there last night and cooked up all his protein, all these different types of protein. So I'm excited to have it. It's so nice when it's already cooked up and just I can go and pull it out. And
yes, I literally made it to Whole Foods at 8:55 and they close at 9, so I could run. I buy fresh fish every couple of days to come home and eat it right after the gym. And I'm mad. Lucky I know everybody in there and they don't say anything, but it was like 5 minutes till when I get in.
Like, get out.
Yeah.
When I was a waitress back in the day, they used to say at the end of the night, if you're not sleeping with the help, get out. Or they'd say, time to start looking for love in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure those Whole Foods people were like, okay. I need to introduce you to the Wild Alaska seafood company that I use. It's amazing fish, all kinds of fish. It's all sustainably caught, and it comes in. You can choose and pick your own fish box, whatever you like, and you can get it every month, every 6 weeks, every other month, whatever you want. You can set up on a subscription, and it's the best fish ever. And I think they come in little individual packages, so you can just pull one out. You don't have to, have a big fish and cut it down and try to save it. Yeah. It's awesome. So I'll send you the information on that because it's good. But we should probably let Claudia come in and say bye. All right. Well, let's close this show out. Dylan, thank you so much for joining here, co-hosting with me. It was an amazing show, and looking forward to the next one. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.